Marilyn Monroe, the girl with the Hongyang Sa, the demon of red beauty, plus TianYi GuiRen, plus Chiet Sa. Bazi chart of Marilyn Monroe. Sing matter born in the month of Si. Considered as a broken chart structure. Direct officer in Si month earthly branch, exposed in HS, attacked by eating god, a broken structure. Direct officer not to be damaged or destroyed. Being direct officer slightly damaged only by Kui eating god. Yin clashing yang, slight damage. Ren hurting officer would be more destructive. Yang clashing yang. Ziping zhen qian, the useful gods such as wealth, direct officer, resource, and eating god are sentimental gods. Sentimental gods are to be treated in a protective manner, not to be damaged or destroyed. Direct officer with resource to protect against HO or EG. Useful god direct officer give birth to resource, and the resource in turn guards the useful god direct officer. Resource Wu and Ji Earth are useful for this chart to protect the Ping direct officer. Broken direct officer will be repaid with the arrival of Wu and Ji Earth. Shen Sa, the power and effectiveness of Shen Sa. In her chart, there are three very powerful Shen Sa at work, namely Hongyang Sa, TianYi GuiRen, and Chiet Sa. The combination of the three Shen Sa is what differentiates her chart from an ordinary chart and what drives the day master to become a superstar. It is not just from chart structure or strength of the HS. The Chiet Sa with weak chi phase causes the DM a lot of suffering. Chart mapping, natal chart with luck pillar and annual pillar. Broken natal chart, repaid by 10 years luck pillar, can be broken by annual pillar. Broken natal chart, further broken by 10 years luck pillar, can be rescued by annual pillar. The success, failure, and rehabilitation when establishing a useful god structure. What are the broken structure formations? What is rehabilitations? Some formations involve rehabilitation, enable a useful god to re-establish its structure. The effect of Shen Sa on top of chart structure. 1935 to 1944, 9 to 18 years old, 10 broken years. Hurting officer Ren attacking the direct officer Ping. The natal chart Ping already under attack by EG Kui. 10 broken years. Ren Chen luck pillar. The Ping fire direct officer further attacked by Ren hurting officer water. 10 years of difficult childhood. Her mother was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia and Monroe became a ward of the state. Monroe felt abandoned, was sexually abused, and molested by her guardian. Even amongst the bad years, there are periods where the sickness water was removed by earth resource when life improved. She had a permanent place to stay instead of being moved around. 1938, a good year. Ren Chen luck pillar, Wu Win annual pillar. The Wu direct resource removed the sickness, Ren and Kui from the chart, providing a relief to the broken chart. 1938, Monroe found a more permanent home in September 1938 when she began living with Grace Anna Lower in the West Side district of Sawtell. She was enrolled at Emerson Junior High School and went to weekly Christian Science services with Lowell. She was otherwise a mediocre student but excelled in writing and contributed to the school newspaper. 1939, a good year. Ren Chen luck pillar, Ji Mao annual pillar. The Ji Earth indirect resource helped remove the sickness, Ren and Kui. the water from the chart, providing a relief to the broken chart. 1939, a good year. She stayed with Grace's aunt, Anna Lower, a more permanent home until early 1941. 1940, also a good year, where she stayed with Grace's aunt, Anna Lower, a more permanent home until early 1941. Probably due to the clash between the two shen, releasing earth to control the water sickness. 1942, a bad year. She married their neighbor's 21-year-old son, factory worker James Doherty, in 1942, when she is 16 years old, to avoid going back to the orphanage. The double rainwater brought pressure to her life. She had no way to turn to, and marriage was her way to not go back to the orphanage. It was not what she wanted. 1944, a year of opportunities. In late 1944, she met photographer David Conover, who had been sent by the U.S. Army Air Force First Motion Picture Unit to the factory to shoot morale-boosting pictures of female workers. The Jia annual pillar would be a tongguan to the water, the rainwater producing the Jia wood, which in return support the Pink Fire Direct Officer, curing the broken structure. 1945 to 1954, 19 to 28 years old, the flourishing years. The Ping Sing combined, removing the direct officer Ping, establishing the direct officer chart structure. The Ping Fire combining with Sin, removing the sickness of the chart. The direct officer was removed from the HS. There is no more Kui water attacking the Ping Fire direct officer. The chart structure has been restored. 1945, year of improvement. First year of the Sing Mao luck pillar. The arrival of Sin removed the Ping direct officer from being attacked. Her first sign of freedom. The eat wood produced wealth for the Kui eating god to produce. Defying her deployed husband, she moved on her own and signed a contract with the Blue Book Model Agency in August 1945. 1946, a good year. By early 1946, she had appeared on 33 magazine covers for publications such as Pageant, US Camera, Left and Pick. In September 1946, she divorced Doherty, who was against her career. Mao Shi combines to support the Ping Fire direct officer. The Ping Sing jealousy combo stopped the removal of the Ping, reducing the auspiciousness. 1947, a good year. She was given her first film roles, bit parts in Dangerous Years, 1947, and Skuda Ho, Skuda He, 1948. Ping Sing combo removing the direct officer, removing the sickness. The Ting 7K controlled by Kui water is considered auspicious, 7K being controlled. 1948, a good year. At Columbia, Monroe's look was modeled after Rita Hayworth, and her hair was bleached platinum blonde. Her only film at the studio was the low-budget musical Ladies of the Chorus, in which she had her first starring role as a chorus girl who is courted by a wealthy man. Ping Sing combo removing the direct officer from being attacked by Kui. Wu Kui combo removing the unwanted Kui water. 1949, a good year. Shortly after leaving Columbia, she also met and became the protégée and mistress of Johnny Hyde, the vice president of the William Morris Agency. Same as the year before, but this year G-Earth removing the Kui, removing the sickness, establishing the chart structure. 1950, a good year. Ken year, the arrival of another TianYi GuiRen, Ken, similar to the later Ken luck pillar. The GuiRen who will also take advantage of her, even though he helps her in her career. Yin also Chiet Sa, giving her headache. Through height, Monroe landed small roles in several films, including in two critically acclaimed works, Joseph Mankiewicz drama All About Eve, and John Huston film No, the Asphalt Jungle. In December 1950, Hyde negotiated a 7-year contract for Monroe with 20th Century Fox. 1951, a good year. In 1951, Monroe had supporting roles in 3 moderately successful Fox comedies, As Young as You Feel, Love Nest, and Let's Make It Legal. Double Sing Mao should be more complicated, with 2 scenes trying to combo with the Ping. 1952, a good year. 3 of Monroe's films, Clash by Night, Don't Bother to Knock, and We Are Not Married, were released soon after the scandal, where she posed nude to capitalize on public interest. Without the direct officer, the Ren-hurting officer is not considered as destructive to the chart structure. Monroe starred in 3 movies that were released in 1953 and emerged as a major sex symbol and one of Hollywood's most bankable performers. Monroe's position as a leading sex symbol was confirmed in December 1953 when Hugh Hefner featured her on the cover and as centerfold in the first issue of Playboy. Monroe did not consent to the publication. Bing Sing combo removing the direct officer in the HS, making the eating god work as a creativity element in her acting career. 1954, the last of the good years. In January 1954, 20th Century Fox suspended Monroe when she refused to begin shooting yet another musical comedy, The Girl in Pink Tights. On January 14, she and Joe DiMaggio were married. Bing Sing combo removing the direct officer in the HS. The Kui eating god is able to produce the Chia Wood wealth. Eating god producing wealth, earning her a new contract with a big bonus. 1955 to 1964, difficult luck pillar. The arrival of Ken Yin. Ken Yin luck pillar. The direct officer is again back to being attacked by the Kui eating god, putting pressure back to the chart. The arrival of Wu and G-Earth in 1958 and 1959 would rehabilitate the chart structure, removing the unwanted Kui EG. Subsequent years with Ken and Sing producing water to support Kui would be detrimental to the chart. The arrival of Ren in 1962 totally devastated the spirit of the Daymaster. The arrival of 3 Yin Tiger in 1962 also denotes the 3 Chiet Sa with weak Chi face, which makes it totally unbearable. For Chiet Sa, if 2 or 3 heavy, maybe will be good early, but will die as a result of sickness. The arrival of another set of TianYi GuiRen and Chiet Sa. TianYi GuiRen at extinct Chi face, not a good GuiRen, People who help her only interested to take advantage of her. The double chiat making her more miserable and depressed. 1955, a good year. The first year for Ken luck pillar, 一为 annual pillar. The Wei combo with Si at the end of the fire season is still able to prop up the pink fire. The Yi combo with Ken, removing the Ken, leaving the weak Kui, causing minimum damages to the pink direct officer. Monroe continued her relationship with DiMaggio despite the ongoing divorce process. She also dated actor Marlon Brando and playwright Arthur Miller. By the end of the year, Monroe and Fox signed a new 7-year contract, as MMP would not be able to finance film alone, and the studio was eager to have Monroe working for them again. Fox would pay her $400,000 to make 4 films, and granted her the right to choose her own project, directors, and cinematographer. She would also be free to make 1 film with MMP per each completed film for Fox. 1956, a successful year. 1956 to 1959, critical acclaim and marriage to Arthur Miller. 2 pink fire being clash. The arrival of another direct officer, another marriage. Usually she marries when she's under pressure. Monroe began 1956 by announcing her win over 20th Century Fox. On June 29, Monroe and Miller were married. Bus Stop was released in August 1956 and became a critical and commercial success. The pink direct officer is now exposed to be attacked by Kui. The Kui is supported by Ken. The Ting Fire is unable to provide much help. She is under attack. The Prince and the Showgirl was released to mixed reviews in June 1957. After returning from England, Monroe took an 18-month hiatus to concentrate on family life. She had an ectopic pregnancy in mid-1957 and a miscarriage a year later. These problems were most likely linked to her endometriosis. Monroe was also briefly hospitalized due to a barbiturate overdose. 1958, a good year. The Wu Earth combined with Kui water, removing the Kui from attacking the Ting Fire direct officer. Monroe returned to Hollywood in July 1958 to act opposite Jack Lemmon and Tony Curtis in Billy Wilder's comedy on gender roles, Some Like It Hot. 1959, a good year. The Chi Earth removing the Kui water, the sickness of the chart. Some Like It Hot became a critical and commercial success when it was released in March 1959. Monroe's performance earned her a Golden Globe for Best Actress and prompted Variety to call her a comedian with that combination of sex appeal and timing that just can't be beat. It has been voted one of the best films ever made in polls by the BBC, the American Film Institute, and Sight and Sound. 1960, a bad year. 1960 to 1962, career decline and personal difficulties. Ken's strong water year, removing the direct officer, destroying the chart structure. Let's Make Love was unsuccessful upon its release in September 1960. 1961, a bad year. Sing Chou, strong matter, producing water again, removing the direct officer, destroying the chart structure. The double unfavorable Chiat Sa also showing the negative effects. Monroe and Miller separated after filming Raps, and she obtained a Mexican divorce in January 1961. Instead of working, she spent the first 6 months of 1961 preoccupied by health problems. She underwent a cholecystectomy and surgery for her endometriosis and spent 4 weeks hospitalized for depression. 1962, the last year. The effect of the 2 previous years, the arrival of rainwater further causing the broken structure. The triple yin, which denotes Chiesa, is too unbearable. Monroe returned to the public eye in the spring of 1962. She received a World Film Favorite Golden Globe Award and began to shoot a film for Fox, Something's Got to Give, a remake of My Favorite Wife. Monroe was too sick to work for the majority of the next 6 weeks. But despite confirmation by multiple doctors, the studio pressured her by alleging publicly that she was faking it. On May 19, she took a break to sing Happy Birthday, Mr. President on stage at President John F. Kennedy's early birthday celebration at Madison Square Garden in New York. Robert Kennedy. She met Robert Kennedy in February 1962, and many reports state that he soon shed her favor. By early summer, she was telling friends that he would marry her. They were together at the home of Peter Lawford in late June, and then, suddenly, both brothers cut her off and she was told to not contact either of them again. She began trying, without success, to reach Bobby by phone. She slumped into a deep depression, survived a drug overdose, and told friends she had had an abortion. A close friend later recalled that she looked like death. The gossip continued for years that she was intimate with both Kennedy men and that they were involved in her death. Hong Yang Sa, Demon of Red Beauty, using the Daymaster HS to check the Shen Sa. She is a Sin Daymaster, and Yu is the Hong Yang Sa. Xing Yu, Hong Yang Sa, with strong officer chi face. For female Daymaster, considered romantic but also lascivious and nefarious, the whole chart must be taken into consideration. Some of the tendencies: a romantic who falls in love easily, Ping DM meeting Yin and Xing DM meeting Yu, Kui DM meeting Shen and Ting DM meeting Wei, eyebrows raised in delight, giggling enthusiastically. Jia and Yi DM meeting Wu and Ken DM meeting Shi, described as a prostitute. Wu and Qi DM meeting Chen and Ren meeting Zi. For Daymaster meeting the EB, Jia and Yi meeting Wu, Bing meeting Yin, Ting meeting Wei, Wu and Qi meeting Chen, Ken meeting Shi, Xin meeting Yu, Ren meeting Zi, Kui meeting Shen, considered as Hong Yang Sa. The full name is Tao Hua Hong Yang Sa. DM loves everyone he meets, falls in love everywhere, a Casanova, good-looking character, tendency to have affairs outside marriage. TianYi GuiRen Yin in the year EB. Ren Chen Luck Pillar, establishing the direct officer chart structure with the help of TianYi GuiRen. TianYi GuiRen at strong Changsheng Chi face with direct officer above. Characteristic: a person with this nobleman in the chart is generally intelligent and able to handle adverse situations. The person will also get a lot of assistance from other powerful people, can achieve early success, social recognition, career and riches. Chi face: TianYi GuiRen with strong chi face indicates a person with very sharp mind and also attractive. Chiet Sa, robbery Sa, The method to derive Chiat Sa. Day EB to derive the Chiat Sa. She has you in the day EB, so yin is the Chiat Sa. Chiat Sa, as in robbery, robbing externally. Chiat Sa, also called big squanderer. Chiat Sa yin, with direct officer being on top, at weak chi face. Chiat Sa when favorable, intelligent and witty. Chiat Sa when auspicious, is more intelligent than others, outstanding ability and wisdom. Do not do things half-heartedly, full of ideas, brilliant and straightforward, using all means to obtain wealth. Inauspicious will cause faint, impure, evil and extravagant. Poison harm personality, chronic ailment, punishment, person, injury through war and knife, vicious in executing plans, merciless in robbery due to greed. Chiat Sa with direct officer. To be an officer should have this Sa. Officer star, good to have this Sa to assist. Chiat Sa when unfavorable. Obstacle, losses, exhaustion, misjudgment, mental confusion, and inability to set priority. If inauspicious for the DM injuries, punishment as the disaster. If inauspicious, character is tough and jealous, deceitful and cunning, always incurring terrible disaster. Chiat Sa with weak chi face, unlucky, brings misfortune, feels powerless, rebellious, brings inner torture and suffering, suffers chronic disease and injuries, poverty, theft, heartlessness. Chiat Sa with direct officer above, holding head high with dignity, free of anger. Chiat Sa with TianYi. Chiat Sa together with TianYi heaven GuiRen and is a favorable element to the chart. In contrast, is intelligent and shrewd. Ability and wisdom is outstanding. The mind collects 10,000 imagery meaningful of ideas, using muscles and brain power to obtain all sorts of wealth. Chiat Sa with TianYi. Chiat Sa with a roll. Arrival of GuiRen together. Chiat Sa with a banner carrying a flag. Chiat Sa sitting on GuiRen, offering help to the DM. All matters changing to difficulty, becoming easy later. Admired and respected by people. Exceptional good fortune. Comment. Chiat Sa in the same pillar with other usable GuiRen. Too many Chiat Sa. Shen Sa best to have only one. Not good to meet more. One Chiat Sa located in the Ling Guan or Ti Wang, the Sa changed to authority, will be illustrious. If two or heavy, maybe will be good early, but will die as a result of sickness.